You're listening to a DM podcast.
Welcome to Over the Back Fence. I'm Di Edwards.
I'm Nicola Dale, and we're buddies of nearly 4 decades. And yes, we actually do happen to share a back fence.
We do. We love parties, people, inspirational stories, and honestly, making the most out of life.
So join us as we open our hearts, share our stories, and hear from some of the most inspirational people in the world, and have a laugh along the way.
Yeah.
Enjoy. Hey, Diney, exciting, it's a Monday, and hey, what fun did we have last week?
Oh, we had the best time. Like, it was Boccacino, our local fabulous bookstore, advertised Kathy Lette speaking at the Avalon Sailing Club.
I know, and I'll tell you what, you can't. Sorry about the location. It's only got Pittwater and beautiful yachts and blue sky. Absolutely perfect spot for Kathy, who's coming on next, who's got this new book, The Revenge Club. And she's just iconic.
She's a rare gem, and as Nicola described her, as a pocket rocket. She's one of a kind. And look, you know what? Keeps reinventing herself. That's what I love about her. You know, she's, to invigorate you, to make you feel alive. Laughter's worth bottling. She stands for that. And if you want to have a giggle today, and as you know, Nicola and I are all about inspiration, listen to this interview. She is absolutely,
I'd say, my poster girl for inspiration. She's in her mid-60s, just rocking it, got the most positive attitude. And, and so even with challenges or whatever, she's got a great outlook, and with wit. I mean, razor wit.
Yeah.
she's wicked. We love her.
Razor wit's a great one because it's very true. Listen, guys, enjoy.
Enjoy.
Okie dokie do, Nicola. So we have with us in the studio,
excited,
a chick that you called the Pocket Rocket. They say at the moment that you're a tonic for our time, but I say you're a tonic, seriously, for over a long fucking time.
Well, tonic goes so nicely with gin, doesn't it?
I was just say vodka, gin.
Yeah,
we're happy.
Nice.
It's a marriage made in heaven, really. Kathy, I've always said you're just such a cool cat. From singer to newspaper columnist to sitcom writer. Now, of course, an author of the latest one. Oh, we can't wait for this one today.
The Revenge
Club.
Let's get revenge.
But 20-odd best-selling novels with many made into films. The iconic, of course, Puberty blues, from panel vans, sex drives in the car, to, I was going to say crochet bikinis. It's something I used to do. I never made a bikini, though, to get around my bottom. Surfy chicks. And the classic line, rack off, ya fish-faced mole. To hobnobbing with London society, entertaining politicians and royalty. You just reinvent yourself and then you're flying. Can we all have a bit of that, please, particularly in our 60s?
Excellent. 60s, surely, sexties.
Yes, sexties. That's it. Hey, Kathy, welcome.
Thank you.
To the back fence.
That's great, our 60s. I won't forget it.
I can't wait to be having a yarn over the back fence with you.
Yes, well,
a chin wag.
Total.
Well, welcome,
to
and
the
we
fat.
are thrilled to have you here.
Oh, I'm delighted to be here. I think our lips are going to lose weight by the amount of talking we're going to do in the next hour.
I
the
think
Talkins diet.
We've mentioned at the start too that we just saw Kathy last week, and you came to our side of the hood you were at Avalon Sailing Club.
Well, still surfy chicks.
Exactly, surfy chicks.
Yeah.
Exactly. So from Cronulla really to Avalon, and with your new book, The Revenge Club.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to the Revenge Club.
Congratulations! It's everyone
brilliant.
has to go out and buy it. So can you tell us a little bit about it, Kathy?
Well, I think women are just fed up with the ageist sexism we're going through right now. The fact that you're deemed to have passed your amuse-by date once you hit the menopause. Whereas I feel you're just coming into your prime because women are brought up to be decorative and demure, aren't we? Like, every time a man and woman start talking at the same time, the woman pulls back. We're far too nice. But then after the menopause, when your estrogen drops and your testosterone comes up a little bit, you get a little bit more bolshy, a little bit more selfish, a little bit more like a bloke, actually. And you can put yourself first for the first time in your life. So I think sex is better. I think you enjoy life more. I think you're really at the peak of your productivity because you're no longer tethered to the kitchen by your heart and your apron strings. Mm-hmm. You can cut the psychological umbilical cord that's tethered you there for so long. So you can actually think. You can come into your own. And just when that's happening, in society we get put out to career pasture. It's wrong. It's evil. and it has to change. So this is a book about 4 middle-aged women who find themselves sidelined in their career or actually just sacked. So they get together to form the Revenge Club to sort of wreak revenge on the men who've ruined their lives. And there's a lot of twists and turns and fun stuff in there. But basically it is a kind of a literary lioness roar at men saying, we've had enough. We're fabulous. And if you don't appreciate us, well, you can F off. Yeah. That's basically it.
We love it. And you know what, Kathy? You're amazing because how many 17-year-olds write a book? And the book that you wrote, the iconic Puberty Blues.
Or Pubes, as I like to call it.
It's easier.
That's been made into a movie, TV series. And isn't it on the curricula for HSC?
Yes,
and students?
it's remarkable.
Can you imagine having to teach that book?
No.
About the Vaseline
No, I
in the
can't.
back of the van or whatever?
Seriously.
It really is one of these iconic Australian chicks in the 70s, and we can relate.
It's incredible. I was 22, I think, when it came out. I was
in the back of the panel van?
Yeah, well, I was picked up by a guy in a panel van. Dad said, I don't think so. We're going to Easter show.
Yeah.
And Dad went, I don't think so.
Well,
So
he
I
was
wasn't
right.
allowed to go.
That's because I made a joke
You
about
just drive around the corner and hide. And you went around there.
rules are made to be broken.
Exactly, that's right. I know you die.
I made a joke about that the other night when I was with you girls about how those surfy boys think that sex drive means doing it in the car. And then I worked out why, because of that little sign on the rear vision mirror that says objects in this mirror may appear larger than they are. And it all makes sense. But the boyfriends used to they wouldn't even pay for us to go to the drive-in. We had to lie under the mattress in the back of the shag and wagon, suffocating.
Yeah.
And then we just became a mattress. It's something for the boys to lie down on while they had sex. Like, it was insanely sexist. But when I wrote Pubes, it was for my
Pubes.
Stop laughing. I'm going to draw breath.
and I wrote it with a girlfriend. So we had that female solidarity. We had that sisterliness that you because at that age you have no objectivity about what you're going through.
Yeah.
You think it might be normal to be treated like a life support system to a pair of breasts. But having a good girlfriend, I could say. What is this all about? What are we really going through? And you could talk it over. And if someone else agreed with you, it gave you the kind of confidence to think you might be on the right track. So I cannot emphasize how important your female friendships are. Well, you two have it amazing.
And more so now, would you say,
At
because
this
you're a year
age.
younger than me.
Right.
And Nicola's eventually coming up to the 60s.
Exactly.
Who.
I'm hanging on to my 50s.
I
both
find
look
more now than
fabulous.
ever. What about you, like with girlfriends? You're talking about you wrote the book with your amazing girlfriend, but like how important are girlfriends to you now in your life?
Well, I've always said that your female friends are your human wonder bras, uplifting, supportive, and making each other look bigger and better. And you two would be totally flat without each other, right?
I think
I was just having problems today with my boobs. That's so funny.
But with your confidence and your chutzpah and
Absolutely,
everything like that. And I think actually, so female friendships have always been so important to me, but I've got 3 amazing sisters. And so when there was never any rivalry between us. But I know a lot of younger women did feel kind of they were competing for the attention of men and whatever. But as you get older, of course, you're pretty settled in your life, pretty settled in your career. And that last vestige of competitiveness kind of dwindles, and then you can just really celebrate the sisterhood. And the chief times for divorce now in Australia, most divorces are initiated by women, and the main time actually.
I didn't know that.
The 2 peak times is when the last child finishes school and when the husband retires. Because with the rocket fuel of HRT, women are like, I want to climb Everest and go down the Amazon, and I want to swing off a chandelier.
103. It was one of our guests was 103, and she was running a little bit late because she was riding. She was riding her bike.
Oh,
And
excellent.
she had a
Episode
10-year
3.
plan. 10-year plan ahead of her.
Isn't that
And she actually had a little
brilliant?
tumble, and
You've got to
now she's
listen to
fine.
it. It's at,
Episode
Dr.
3,
Gladys.
Season 2, Dr. Gladys.
She stays with me
Magari.
every day, and I know
Dr.
with you too.
Yeah,
Gladys.
she's one of our
She's free.
heroes.
So, it's very true what you're saying. It's like, I think in the olden days, turning 60, because I remember my mum's friends that were 60, I go, oh, she's so old.
Yes,
she's 60, she's old. Now it's like, seriously, really wake up. It's all ahead of you.
Yeah, it's all ahead of you.
Yeah.
The best time of your life. No period cramps. no pregnancy fears. You've got all that tampon money to spend. And you've also got more time because you're not, as I said, domestically enslaved to your kids and your family. So
what did you say, 45,000 acres of toast? No more?
Oh, yeah, I was saying.
I love that line. What is it?
Because we just to let the listeners know, we had a chinwag the other night, obviously, and we were bantering away. It was
Cheers,
like,
it is.
It was
Cheers to Kathy.
cheers. Oh, cheers to you guys. It was like the Wimbledon of wit with banter lobbing back and forth across the room, But yeah, so what I was saying about there's this dichotomy in what older people want. Because, when men retire, they just want to sit at home and nest. And the women are like, I've nested. I've buttered 4,000 acres of toast and roasted 4 million flocks of lamb and salmon and whatever else, set me free. So I think, and we know that marriage suits men much more than it suits women. I don't know if you've read all those statistics.
Well, you find most times too, you sort of find most men like to repartner pretty quickly. You have a look at most relationships, if they split, it's normally not that long. All of a sudden, they got a new chick.
Yeah.
Well, that's because we're put out to pasture, as Kathy said.
If you think
but we're having a great time chewing that fabulous grass.
We are.
Having a ball.
And smoking it occasionally.
And I think the thing is too, Kathy will let me know, there's no taboo about it. Whereas, say back in our parents' day, for your mum and dad, it was a real stigma to be a divorced woman.
Oh, very much
it was a little
so.
bit of sort of shame and a little, whereas,
it was a
sort
bit
of
like the
now
pursed lips. Oh.
Now it's like,
at the dinner party.
Because you've had a couple of marriages, is that right?
Yeah,
Tell
and
us
I mean,
more
I don't
about-
see divorce as a failure at all. I just see it as a change.
Yes,
Brilliant.
yeah,
And
yes.
and because
Healthy.
marriages last so long now because of longevity, you can from honeymoon to tomb can be like 80 years or
tomb.
90.
Yeah.
That's a long time to find someone's anecdote.
That's fascinating
I know.
to look at it like that.
Yeah, so you just got to celebrate what you got from that marriage, great kids or whatever, and just stay friends. You've got to always think, well, there was something about that person that I loved, and it's still there, and you have to try after the anger and the pain of the divorce settles out. You've got to try to find that again,
that's
I think.
a wise thing. If you can,
If you can.
with kindness in this world, sometimes it might take a little bit of time for that sort of like
It
part
is.
to do that. But
So, so with your ex-husband, do you have that? With Geoffrey?
We both,
Jeffrey
yeah.
what
Robertson?
about the first husband? Because
That's
that must have
great.
been, tell us a little bit, because that must have been
Yeah.
tricky when you're married and you fall in love with someone else.
Yes, that is.
What can you-
terrible.
what
I mean,
happened there?
my guilt gland just throbbed terribly. But I was married
I'm
to
sure he's
How long were
glad
you married?
did too.
To Kim.
We lived together about 9 years, I think.
Yes.
And we married about 5. And I mean, I still feel really bad about it, except when I left Kim for Geoffrey, I sent my best friend round to cheer Kim up. And she cheered him up so much she married him.
So you set him up. There you go. How good's that? There's my calling card. Have a good time.
And are they still
Well
together?
done.
Husband replacement therapy. That's right.
Are they still together?
Yes, they're
Another
so
book.
happy.
Yeah,
So I really did
incredible.
them a
I love
favour.
it.
You're so,
Yeah.
Isn't life just
Yeah.
amazing how
But
that
you went on a
happens?
TV show, was it? Did you ever see Hypothetical with?
Oh, yeah.
So
Geoffrey-
you were on that show,
Yeah.
and this is how you met your
And
husband.
Geoffrey's always joked that because I sat in for Kylie Minogue, they tried to get Kylie to go on the show.
Right.
It was a fascinating show. It was, they took a hypothetical situation, like, someone's pressed the nuclear trigger. What are you going to do? And you act out the scenarios. You'd have the Prime Minister, you'd have a top barrister, you'd have the Minister for Defence. So whatever.
Kathy Lette.
Yeah, and
I know.
and they'd have a
Pocket
bit of
rocket.
They'd have a bit of light relief as well, and Kylie apparently had been booked but couldn't go, so I sat in for her. And Jeff used to always joke that if she'd gone that day, he would now be like Mr. Minogue, and I'd be like, in your wet dreams, Robertson. But so we actually have a video of our first meeting, and my eyelash, because it was a show for the ABC, so my eyelash batting average would like rival Alan Border. I was just totally smitten by. I mean, there's only one place that size does count with a man, and that's his big throbbing organ between the ears. That is the biggest
He's a brainiac,
erogenous
huh?
Yeah,
zone
we love
for
it.
women, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
And
Is
his
that
organ
the
was
turn-on? It's
your
throbbing
match.
away. Yeah.
It was
It's
throbbing
interesting
away.
what qualities people look for.
Yeah.
Where sometimes men, if they just want the boobs or the this or the, For women, really, it is sometimes it just is what's between the ears.
Yeah.
And
Well,
maybe a
all
little
Be
bit more.
personality or
Well, all the
intellect.
research
Humour.
shows that what women and men find attractive in each other. Men always put looks first, and they put personality about 10th. And women always put personality and humour.
Interesting,
first.
isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, for the majority of men.
It's the
yes.
Neanderthal approach
I know.
with the club.
I know, and a lot of my women friends my age now are having cosmetic surgery to try and keep themselves looking young to get another man. But I'm like, why would you want a man who only wants you because you're silicone from tonsils to toenail?
Yes.
I wouldn't want a man
But it's
like
a great.
that.
What did you say about the wrinkles? It was. Is it,
Read
there's-
between my lines.
Read
It's all
between
there.
How good is that? How
books,
good is that?
The babies.
It speaks 1,000 words.
The hours of fun-loving flirtation. It's
I
all
love
there.
it.
That's the
I said.
Kathy
I
Lette
say
quote,
these
isn't
lines
it?
took me a long time to develop.
That's
There's a lot of
right.
fun laughter. Lines
And the
here.
laughter around our eyes are mostly from squinting when and saying to a man, "You want me to suck what?"
You know, when you're sort of saying you come into your second act, but Kathy, you're into your third act. Would you say that?
I am into my third act, yeah.
Oh.
But I do think for women, life isn't really
Yes.
into big acts.
Yes, yeah.
And the trick is surviving the interval, which is the menopause,
Yeah.
where
Yes.
you sweat so much it's like the Gestapo's trying to get a confession out of you, having your own weather, etc. But once you get through that, and I would highly recommend HRT to everybody.
Yes,
I mean,
that seems to be on trend,
Yeah,
doesn't it? We've had a lot of people talk about it.
It was really, really, really panned like in the media for so long. Then people got so fearful, and now it's like, hey,
yes, all those
it's
myths,
get
were,
over
myths
it.
all
It's
those
been
It's
debunked
wrong.
now.
all those
and-
myths
wrong.
were debunked.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so good for you.
And it's healthy to hear a woman say that.
Yeah, and, oh gosh, it is rocket fuel. You just
Wow.
because in evolutionary terms, the menopause is quite a new phenomenon.
Yes, yeah.
Because once we were all dead at 32, our longevity was so short, but now we're living for so much longer. So the menopause kind of humans are just getting used to this idea
Yes.
of women living beyond their biological reproductive age. So. Why wouldn't you want to just feel the way that you'd always felt? And that's
Yeah.
all it does. It just
Yeah.
It
balances
really is
your
then the
hormones
midway
back.
point. When you look at Dr. Gladys, 103, so
Yeah.
if it hits people around 50-ish, sort of on
It does.
average,
Yeah.
it sort of spans that way. And then the second act, it is true, that's when you're saying with empowerment for women and feeling that confidence.
Yeah.
And you've got a new boyfriend, is that right?
Yeah.
Or maybe not so
I
new now.
have.
Go you.
Well, it's
Well,
really
it's more about how you met him.
It's pretty.
Did you pick him
No,
up though,
it's not.
Kathy?
Oh, come on. we
In a
love-
park. Hold on, I love this. Did you pick him up in a park? Seriously,
You know too
talk
much,
about,
Guy.
Talk about empowerment. Like wandering in the park.
You
he'll
don't
do
be,
it.
you're not shy anymore, really.
But
are
I
you,
know
when you're
that's
older?
the nice thing.
I'm not shy.
And you know what attracted her? It was the senses. It was hearing, wasn't it? You heard him.
Yes, he was playing. He's a classical guitarist. He was playing Bach in the park. It was a hot day. It's
Bach
what they
in
call
the
in the
park.
movies a meet cute. It's pathetic, really, because I write satire and my work can be quite caustic. And then I have this pathetic rom-com meeting with this beautiful guy. And I was jogging through Regent's Park in London. I just heard this beautiful music and went over and chatted to him. And he's Irish, so he's got that
Sense of humour.
and then that lilt. That lilt. They just have to say, the butter is better. And you're like, oh, take me now.
Something
Whatever.
about the voice. isn't
Something
it?
about that voice.
Wow.
And and also Celtic men, Irish men are used to strong women because they're raised by very strong mums. They've got a lot of sisters, so they're not daunted by forceful
to be
females
single
like
at
that.
the
That's
time
amazing.
when you were mingling.
Yeah, that's right.
great.
He
Wow,
was single,
single
had a
and
bit of a
mingle
quick
and-
mingle, and
And how long have you been together for?
about 7 years now.
Wow. And he's how much younger than you?
Oh, he's only like 8 years younger.
Oh, hello.
I know.
We love it.
But he
That's
adores
great.
me, doesn't bore me, and does all my chores for me. So I highly recommend you
And
find.
I'm sure in Ireland,
so
that might be a destination because they've got lots of brothers. And,
Oh, that's true.
Yes.
Go to
Yes.
Ireland.
Go to Ireland.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right,
sense
we're
of
on our way. I said to Nicola, I know I've heard the story, but I love it so much. It's so juicy. Is the story when you were a scriptwriter in Los Angeles.
Columbia Pictures.
And what a great opportunity. You know,
Oh, yeah.
seriously. I mean, talk about here's Kathy one more time. Can you just share that amazing story, including the big George Clooney, who we all love and adore?
Well, all those sitcoms you love, like Frasier and Friends and whatever, they're all written by about 9 people. They lock you in this windowless padded room I used to call the gag gulag. And they'd read some of my books and asked me to come over and work for Columbia Pictures. And I was only in my 20s, and I thought that's a really great experience. And it was a fantastic comedy workshop, learning how to set up jokes, how to do the feed line, all that kind of stuff. And they were all great, funny people. It was like 9 Jewish guys and me. I mean, I've look at me. I became so Jewish, the hair, the shoes, the jokes, the hands. I'm so Jewish I feel guilty that I'm not, kind of thing. Anyway, we cast this unknown actor called George Clooney. And he was gorgeous, obviously, but hadn't done any television before. And he asked me out. And I said, no. I can still remember
I can hear the women
exact
listening.
words.
You what?
I know you what. So anyway, and I said, you're an actor. You put other people's words in your mouth when you never know where they've been, right? Could you imagine saying
Hold
that?
on. You said that to him?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And I looked down
this
on
is
him.
an extra bit I didn't know about. Wow.
Yeah, I looked down on him because I'm like, I write the things you have to say. Like you're nothing. You're under my
love
shoe.
it. Yes, yeah.
And then, of course, years later, there was a writer's strike. I went back to Sydney, and that's when I met Geoffrey, and that's when my whole life took a different trip, a different route. Anyway, and then years later, I'm in London. One of my writer friends is visiting me, and I've got 2 babies. I'm covered in vomit, haven't slept for years. ER's on in the background. ER, which remember Dr. Ross?
Oh, yes.
No. That was his big breakout role.
Wow. Yeah, he was.
And there's
Is
Dr. Ross, and I'm
still.
going, oh, look at that Dr. Ross, isn't he gorgeous? You know, I could swim through a pool of my own drool to get to the event. I'm like, that guy gives me a wide on.
Yeah.
And my friends like, but that's the guy who asked you out. That's the guy we cast. That's George Clooney. And I was just like, and then I just lay in a fetal position in the corner of the room and cry for like 2 months. I'm still crying.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
But then this weird thing happened because years later, Jeff took on this young junior called Amal. And of course, she married George.
What are the odds of that?
Oh, I didn't. I missed that. So she worked with him. I didn't
She
know
worked
that.
for Jeff as his
Okay.
junior.
Yes.
And Jen Robinson and Amal. I remember when he brought them both home. I'm like, are you joking?
came round
Is
for
there
dinner.
not?
Yeah.
Is there not one plain lawyer you could take as your junior? Jen Robinson and
With
Amal.
a suit done up to here.
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
yeah.
how did she get the job? You know,
Seriously.
like, wow.
And what was that like?
And then
really?
George, when they come to
Did he
Well,
remember you?
He did. Well, we
There's
did-
the bitch.
yeah, we didn't dwell. we drew a veil.
Yeah.
But I did say to him once when Jeff and Amal were off in some fungal jungle, liberating the world's underdogs from their kennels. If he was feeling a little bit lonely, a little bit sad, I would be there to comfort him. But let me tell you, when he would come for dinner, he'd clear the table and stack the dishwasher, which is foreplay for us.
Oh, yeah,
Are
absolutely.
you kidding me?
No.
Oh, there you
kid
go,
you.
girls.
Really decent
so it's
guy.
just easy on the eye.
Yeah.
Speaking of people coming to your house, can you share with us like some of your more fantastic, exciting, interesting dinner parties that you had been married to the amazing Geoffrey Robertson when you were in London? Well, you still go between Sydney and London, but just the people and the conversation. What would be one of your favourites?
Well, we had a lot of interesting people staying in our attic because they would come for legal advice or they were on the run.
What?
So-
Give us
Little
examples.
attic. Wow.
So we had
That's a
band.
book in itself, the
It
attic.
is, the
That is
attic.
the
Really?
attic.
Yeah, I've had everyone in the attic except Dorian Gray, But we had banned poets, we had exiled prime ministers, we had prisoners on the run.
And you've got 2 kids downstairs.
Yeah,
La, la, la.
yeah.
Okay.
We had Salman Rushdie was there
Really?
for a while,
Wow.
yeah. So was remember James Hewitt, the one who had the affair with
yes.
Di?
Yes.
He was wanted by the tabloids. It was like a £50,000 reward for him. And someone flew him into England, put him in the boot of a plane and brought him to our place.
Seriously,
As
So
you
he
do,
was
direct to Kathy's house.
Yeah, he was
Wow.
he was in the attic. And I remember I kept thinking at the time, surely Special Branch have found out he's here and that the tabloids will be out there in the park. And I felt so confident.
Well, you like parks,
I
hanging
like
parks.
parks, but I put full makeup on and sat in the window reading copies of my own books, laughing uproariously.
Here I am.
Just
in
for the
case.
legs up,
For
the
the
dog,
paps.
for the
patting the dog.
That's right. And then, of course, Julian Assange stayed with us for a while.
Oh, wow.
Poor dear Julian.
I know, I feel sorry for him.
Because how long's
I
that
know.
been?
Too long.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, and he still hasn't been charged with anything.
No.
So, and he didn't steal anything. He just he published.
Yes.
But so did the New York Times. So did the Guardian. It's really torture what he's going through. So.
Now tell us about, you went to Camilla's 70th, is that right?
I love Camilla. Yeah, I do go out to parties and things. Yeah, she's great. I'm a Republican. I think Australia should be a republic and stand on our own two thongs, you know.
Yes,
But I knew Camilla long before she was, publicly out with King Charles.
Yes.
Was she in the attic too at some stage?
Yeah, was she hiding there? She with James? There'd be some few stories, wouldn't there?
Be interesting dinner party, that one.
The next series of The Crown.
That's a good one.
Just throw in Kathy's
James and Camilla.
I love that idea. What I was going to say about her, she was vilified at the time because she was seen as the other woman, etc.
Yes.
And I thought it's not fair that the woman always gets blamed in these scenarios.
No, that's right.
It takes two to do the horizontal tango.
Yeah,
And I just really liked her from the get-go. She's funny, she's
Strong.
self-deprecating, she's warm, she's witty. She's
Survivor.
almost Australian. She's got great female friends. She's almost an closet Australian. I call her a closos.
Yes, yeah. Wow.
And a great sense of humour. So I stuck up for her in the press when nobody else was, and that's where we sort of really became,
And what did Geoffrey say about that? What does Geoffrey say to you anyway when you just go speak your mind? And like a dinner party in London, there's Kathy Lette being Aussie. How did the English deal with you when you first went there, for example?
Well, when you first go there, you've got to understand that they don't speak English; that they speak euphemisms. So you've got to you've got to have those little United Nations headphones to decode them. So when they say things like "do stay for another drink," that means like never darken my door again. And when they say "oh, you Australians, so refreshing," I thought, oh, gosh, they really like me. And what that really means is rack off, you loudmouth colonial nymphomaniac. And you have to go, how dare you call me a loudmouth, please? I have my standards.
You love it.
So, they were pretty awful in the beginning because they have the people I met, the sort of
Interesting,
London
that.
literati, have a condescension chromosome. And they've been at Oxford for so long, they've got ivy growing up the backs of their
I
legs.
love that.
Yeah,
And
I get that. Really high academics.
Oh, and what they graduated in is like advanced snobbery. to
Right.
Colonials. They see us as the Irish of the Pacific. But when I was going to London, whenever any English person would condescend to me, I would just tell them what my grandmother told me when I was going to London. She's like, oh, Kath, you can't possibly go and live in London. That's where all those terrible convicts come from.
Oh, see,
And
that's
then
is that
I've
what you
got-
tell them?
yeah.
Oh, that's a good comeback.
Isn't
That's
it?
great.
Then they've got no...
That is just so brilliant. Would you say because your mum seems to be like a role model? She was a headmistress.
Fabulous.
You know, you're talking about your grandmother
Yes.
and your beautiful sisters. Do you come from a strong line of women?
Very strong line of females, yeah. My mother gave me the greatest gift ever, 3 scintillating sisters.
Isn't that's a really beautiful thing to say? I don't think I've ever really acknowledged that.
Yes.
How lucky I am to have 4 sisters.
Oh,
Yes,
Five,
yeah.
including Nicola.
Well, I just sort of throw myself in.
You're
you know,
both.
like-
Your sisters / friend. How lucky am I?
The only thing my sisters and I fight about is who's top of mum's speed dial. You know?
Oh,
We don't really fight.
Isn't that
We just
great?
tease, we just tease.
I've got to ask, I want to say, whenever I read anything about you and I hear you, and Nick and I just saw you recently speak, is, there's always laughter in the room. There's so much beautiful, high, positive energy. I just want to put it out there how important laughter is. It affects every cell in your body. Yeah. For example, like your husband of 28, does he have a sense of humour?
Oh, Jeffrey?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
We laughed about the same things. We have the same black sense of humour.
That was your saviour,
for
like,
sure,
yes.
for sure.
Yeah, through
and I
all
think
that.
laughter is, if you can laugh at something, it's like strapping a giant shock absorber to your brain.
Wow.
Takes the sting out of it, don't you think?
Yeah, that's
that one.
wonderful.
And so
Takes the sting out of it.
when women are together, I mean, on a girls' night out, you have to be hospitalised from hilarity, don't you?
Yes.
The first thing we do is cackle like kookaburras. We laugh, and our humour is it's self-deprecating, it's confessional, but it's cathartic.
Best therapy sometimes is your girlfriend therapy.
It's
isn't
girlfriend
it?
therapy.
You know?
But on a girls' night out, you'll be laughing and having this great time, then you're all hugging and crying. We do
It's
that
true.
too.
It is true.
Yeah, that's
It is
right.
quite funny. And when in about 10 minutes, you go from one to the other. How are you?
But guess what? It's not just us imagining that women laugh more often than men. Scientists have proven that. Anthropologists, biologists, everybody have done the research. Says that women in all cultures on the planet laugh more often than men.
Maybe because we've got
Especially-
our girlfriend group.
Especially in
too.
all-female groups.
Yes.
You know,
yeah.
and I
interesting,
know
isn't it?
we're
Yeah.
laughing about the same thing.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
we're like, oh, did he do that to you? What about this? What about what he
Yeah.
said to me? Oh.
But
You know,
thank
and
you,
it
Kathy,
saves
because
you.
we were just chatting in the car about you and about.
Yeah, but you really are. We want
yeah.
to sort of acknowledge that too.
High
That it's such a
energy.
gift that you give to so many people.
Thank you.
And it
Oh,
really,
darling,
and
it's
but
true
it should
though.
be recognised. And I
Yes.
think and so whereas as Aussies, we're so proud
Yeah.
of you.
Yeah.
And
God,
internationally,
It's like unbelievable.
That
It's
what we
very
really
true.
are.
The love
Yeah.
jacuzzi.
You know, it is. Well, we are a little bit of a love
Well, we've
fest
got the
here.
bubble.
We've got the
Got
little
the
bubbles
bubble.
here,
Sweetie,
like a
sweetie,
little,
darling.
a
Because
little
all I can
cheers.
say to
Yeah.
you is
But-
right back at you because I absolutely love Australian women.
Yeah.
And I've lived in America, lived in London. You know, I've travelled a lot of the world. I have a travel column. I meet women all around the world.
What's the
There's-
travel column called?
It's
So
called
is there one-
Adventure Before Dementia. No offence to anyone who's dealing with dementia.
That's
I know,
actually a
but-
great
But it's a
number
great-
plate.
yes.
but like not now when. But Australian women, fiercely loyal, funny, formidably strong, and just make the best friends. If you tell your Australian women friends a secret, it stays in the cone. Whereas I've never found that same sense of sisterly solidarity anywhere else in the world.
Interesting.
So it's even that kind of camaraderie is even reflected in our vernacular. Two women who slept with the same man are called stick sisters. Not rivals, but you slept with him too, wasn't he terrible?
right. Isn't
Right?
That, isn't that good?
And I just love that.
I know. That's so
So
funny.
in all my work, I always champion women because it's still a man's world. And we were talking about this the other night. How first of
Is
all,
it changing though, Kathy?
very slowly.
It is,
We're
but
not going to
yeah.
change till men join us at the barricades.
Yeah,
'Cause,
and that's gonna
we've
take
got to
time.
get. You saw the stats on equal pay that came out the other
That's
week.
right. Yeah, I know.
So we're
It's
still getting
That's true.
and we're
Yes.
still getting concussion hitting our head
Yeah.
on the glass
Yeah.
ceiling, and we're supposed to clean it while we're up there.
Yeah.
there's a second glass. There's a second glass ceiling at home because women, even though we make up 50% of the workforce, are still doing about 99.9% of all the housework and the
And
childcare.
hopefully that's changing.
Yeah.
You know.
but-
Particularly after 60.
You know. Oh well.
All
let's-
right.
well, let's
Well, get a younger guy.
Yeah.
Who likes
right.
to shop and mop. You're fine. but the reason I champion women in that way too is that we're even the butt of God's biological joke when you think of all the things women go through, from when you first get taken hostage by your hormones as a teenager. Then there's pregnancy where everything swells to sumo wrestler proportions. Then there's childbirth. We stretch your vagina the customary, 8-9 kilometres. Then there's
And some.
mastitis. Then there's the menopause. And then just when everything goes quiet, you grow that beard.
Yes.
I don't know if
Yeah.
could you make
Oh,
a macrame
you-
hanging basket arrangement?
The other night I was out and all I could do was focus on this girl's
I know.
head. It would have been an inch.
Yeah,
And I'm trying to talk to her and hear her. I couldn't even hear her. I was so focused on the hair and I thought, God, life's a bitch.
Yeah, isn't it?
But
Yeah.
you know, you're driving the car, you often see them going,
Oh, I
Oh, you
know.
see it, not the eyebrows. You know,
I'm
it's
not
sort of
looking
like
at something
it's from-
bigger
it's
in the
from
rear vision,
from
but
the
going,
chin.
got to get that hair. And you just think,
But it's true,
why?
you know. That's a good thing to sort of acknowledge, really, as women. I guess that all those things, and we do. When we have the babies and the whole different stages of life, and maybe that makes us stronger. Do you
Well, I
think?
think that's also why we have
Definitely.
camaraderie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
We
true.
can,
Yeah.
women can cut to the chase
Yes.
very
Yes,
quickly
yes.
because we've all going through or
It's that
have
cocoon.
endured the same
The
ordeals.
woman's tent.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think that's
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
men don't have that easy access into each other's psyche that we do.
And
It's
isn't it great
interesting,
because we've got
that.
some lovely men, male listeners as well too. Like I've met
Yeah.
Moran with, he was on,
Yeah.
he goes fishing with with
Yeah,
a mate
yeah.
and like a lot. Sometimes it's now. I think they're
Yeah, I
starting.
think
to
that's
do
changing.
more.
That's
my
changing.
son's got
Thank
his-
God.
I just want to know with you, Kathy, because you're such. I love you, the quality. You're positive. You're
As
joyful.
are you, by the
Yeah. Well, we love to be that way, but you are. And is it something that you work at? Is it something that you like?
Where
is
you
it
get your
within-
energy from?
Yeah, just even for our listeners,
Yeah.
just to know, because we do try and look on the positive things, but
Yes, we
sometimes
do.
your life slaps you and you get
Yeah.
down and you're down and out. And you can't always
Yeah.
be positive.
No.
And during those times, what's your take on it, or how do you stay positive?
Well, my motto
Through the
is
hard times too.
my motto is laugh and the world laughs with you, cry and you get salt in your champagne. pampers, which you don't want. You don't want salt
Unless
in
it's
there.
a margarita.
I was going to say
Margarita.
margarita maybe, but not too salty.
No.
So of course,
How
I've
do you
had
deal with
many
it?
downtimes because
Yes.
when my son was diagnosed with autism,
Yeah,
that
the
was
shock.
really hard, and a lot of other things I've gone through that I don't talk about, but
No, of
particularly.
course.
And so all women have to endure things, but if you can find the funny, if you can find the
laughter.
funny, it will just lift you up. I don't think optimism is an eye disease. I'm a very optimistic person, whereas I live in England where they can be quite Eeyore-esque over there.
Yes.
They've always, I
Wow.
think it's because the sky's
Is
so
that it?
low.
'Cause sometimes it
Interesting.
is
Have
like
that
gloomy
penny
in the
feeling.
London town.
a little bit
it's
gloomy.
raining
Oh, no,
today.
it's no good.
Yeah, we just
it's
grew up,
true.
and with all that
Yes.
Cronulla sun.
joy and sunshine.
Right.
And here, if you ever you're feeling sad or depressed here, just go for a surf.
Yeah,
Jump
get
in
in
the
the water.
sea. Do something where you're living in the moment. Like I boogie board with my 3 sisters. And we're like
love that.
We're like 4 menopausal gidgets. And we hold hands as we surf into shore. We've got the sun safe outfits on. We look ridiculous. We look like some warped version of the Wiggles.
Beautiful.
And when you're boogie boarding, you're living in that moment. You can't think about anything else. You're looking for the wave. You're full of joy. Just find something simple. Even dancing.
Yes.
Like if I'm having a down day, I would just put music on loudly and just dance around the kitchen. Also, it's the disco diet.
Yes, you
Yeah.
can
Drink as
And
much
that's
as you
what
like
they
and
say
dance
also,
it
that's
off.
So good.
Spiritually, it's sort of
Yeah.
shaking it too.
It
Like
is.
shake,
It's
shake, shake
very
therapy as
tay-tay,
well
isn't
too.
it?
Very
Shake it.
tay-tay.
Joan Rivers was my favourite comedian.
love her.
Forevermore will be, including Kathy.
A genius.
But you know what she just said? That there's laughter in everything. There is
Everything.
joy. Eventually, when the chips are really low, but that's, to me, it's a great thing to hold on to in life.
It is
turn around and
medicinal.
smile. Like this one we interviewed the other day in the night when you wake up. She said, smile, remember? It'll help you go back to sleep.
Oh,
Because
what a
even
great tip.
smiling affects your body.
Yeah,
You know,
that's so true.
and that's, again, I'm coming
But
back
it's a
to
great
you.
thing to say because it's all being authentic. Because I think sometimes people go, you can't always be all that happy, or how can you? So it's
Yes.
really nice to know those times. Swim in the ocean.
Yep. Yeah.
Live in the present now.
Yeah.
Appreciate what you've got.
It's
Touch
true.
base with
Dance.
another mate.
Dance, and hopefully get laid.
Woohoo!
That's another
I
living
tell
in
you
the
what.
moment.
Well, we've got a couple
I mean,
of
I
those.
can't believe that I'm even vertical right
That
now.
is so
wanna
good.
talk to you
Dance,
forever.
get laid, laugh, all of that. I mean, it's not
Boogie
like
board.
I jog for 4 hours. It's like this is like things that you can adapt to your world, and
And I
you
tell you,
know,
and everyone has
and
to
if you don't
listen
need
to
to
the-
serve, put some salt in your bloody bath.
The revenge
really,
club. But we've
truly.
got a couple of key questions which we ask our guests, Kathy. So did
Yes.
you want to shoot Diddy?
Did you hear about these questions? Are we throwing them at her? And knowing Kathy, she'll know.
Ooh.
If you had the opportunity of meeting your 20-year-old self, it's not that long ago, what would you say to her and why?
Well, wear sunblock.
Yes.
You could play join the dots with my sunspots, and what they would read is, wear sunblock, you idiot. But I would also say to never let a man make you feel inferior, because we was definitely second-class citizens.
100%.
We were runners-up in the human race.
Yeah.
So I would say, even though men are physically stronger, women are more verbally dexterous. We use about 300, 400 more words in our daily vocabulary. So you can take a man down with a great one-liner. So practice a bit of
you shoot one?
tongue fu, the black belt in tongue fu. Give a bit of quiplash.
What's a good
Tongue
one? What's a
food.
good one to give out?
I love it.
That's your secret weapon. So I would advise my younger self and all other young women to get good at that. Yeah.
It's a great one. I'm digesting it all.
really
it's
is,
a great
yeah.
one.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
We've given
Wow.
a lot of young women listening.
And if you could share a back fence with anybody on planet Earth, Kathy,
This
who would it be?
They have to still be
Why?
alive?
No, it could be
anybody,
anyone.
Past, present,
Yes.
Oh, wow.
anybody.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh. It can't be a girls' night out over the back fence. Could it
Could be
be a
anything.
It
few?
could be anything. We'll be
We-
in the
we
branch.
get crashed
We
the
always,
wall.
we
You're
always
there.
come and we sit on the branch and go like this,
you're
like
there.
that. We
Oh.
love it.
Climb
So-
over the fence.
Unless it's nude and having sex, we'll just head off. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I think we'll go with the funny girls. I mean, I'd like to have Dorothy Parker. She had a black belt in Tung Fu.
Yes, yeah.
Very good. I'd have Joan Rivers.
Oh,
I'd have
I'm
Nora
there.
Ephron,
Right.
who wrote
Yes.
Heartburn. Very
Yes.
witty, wonderful
Yes.
woman.
Very-
And
God,
Mae
this will be
West.
fun. Oh,
wow, classics.
Whoa.
So I think
Well, I'm
that
going a bit
well,
of Mae
we
West
are
with my
exactly
top
You are
today.
going a bit
I have
Mae
to
West.
keep pulling my
Exactly.
top back. It keeps sliding down.
and I think that would be just if you girls were there as well.
I'll tell you what, we would not miss out
How
on that at all.
incredible.
We would be
Kathy.
cackling like kookaburras.
Yeah.
don't
Well,
you think?
What a wonderful mix.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just trying to reflect on them all. Wow, will anyone get a word in? Probably
Because
not.
the other thing, you were talking about the importance of comedy. And the reason I use it in my work, I want to give women a lovely time and cheer them up and give them a laugh at life's horrors and obstacles, whatever. But also, if you can disarm with charm, you've got a much better chance of getting your message across. And all my books are feminists. They're all like, women
Yeah.
stand
From
up
Puberty
for yourselves.
Blues.
but
Yeah.
with the sense of humour. It's not too serious, otherwise, it's
But
beautiful.
you can let it slide down because it's sugar-coated in that way.
Good message in life, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Dealing
Well
with a lot
said.
of things. If
Disarm,
you can
slide
do it
down.
with sweetness,
Sugarcoat it. I
get the
love
same
that.
message across.
Yeah,
Kathy,
but
you know-
sometimes you have to give
Sometimes
it,
you have to,
like, good,
We're
good
always
kick
getting
in the
wound
bum.
up in here.
Rounding up.
I
go on.
just
Well,
all I
well,
want to do is just say
thank you
that
so much for
we
coming into the
wanted
Back
you
Fence.
in the beginning. I just
We
said we
really
have to
did,
get
and it
Kathy
was
on
sort of
it,
like
and it was all
the
serendipitous.
universe
Just
that you came here. So everybody will
joined-
have the link
Yes.
And of all Kathy's details
And
on our
4,000
show notes.
book that
So
she's
the
written.
Revenge Club, it's a must read. It's a,
Oh,
on the top
and might I just quickly add, is there a chance that this might turn into a film?
Yes. Or TV series.
TV series.
I wrote it with a TV series
Can
in
we
mind.
say congratulations? Or
Oh, is it in the
Well, I'm deciding
Hot off
between
the
a
press,
few right
everybody.
now.
How exciting,
I
Kathy! You
know.
deserve it.
Wow,
Yes,
Cameo
sorry.
girls.
Yeah.
I feel like
no,
Cameo coming
I
on.
love that show,
I'll
Aussie
be-
Chicks.
I'll
You know,
be
like
there.
woohoo.
I can see it all, yeah.
Well,
Or in
everyone,
the
thank you
bar.
for listening, and don't forget to rate and review. And we'll be back in your ears next Monday. So, Dodie, we've had Kathy here. How many stars do we give?
Oh,
We'd
what
like
do we say?
everyone
It's gotta-
to rate us.
Oh, look,
But
it's out of 5. Is
out
it?
of
So it's
5,
either
you
1,
know,
2,
we want
3,
to get
4.
on. It's a new
I
body.
think 55.
Oh, 55.
yeah.
No, I reckon times 55
Like, throw
times
another
55.
5 in. So
Let's
what?
Squared.
You know, the
It's got to be.
computer.
It's got to be 60 because that's
Oh,
60.
well, she's turning 60
Just
in
about
a
to.
few weeks. Let's drink to that. I think that's worth the party.
Thanks, Kathy.
So lovely to chat to you over the back fence.